Taytay is a first-class municipality in the province of Rizal. According to the 2015 census, it has a population of 319,100 people. It is the third most populous municipality in the country after Rodriguez and Cainta. Conurbated with Metro Manila, it is bounded by Cainta on the north, Pasig and Taguig on the west, Antipolo in the east, and Angono on the south. While economically, demographically, and politically qualified, plans to convert it into a city was set aside pending social and administrative reforms in the municipality. The National Competitiveness Council has named Taytay as the second most competitive municipality for year 2019 after topping the previous years. Taytay is one of the municipalities in the Philippines that has high financial capability with 775.3 million pesos, making it the second or third richest municipality in the Philippines in 2016. Taytay was a settlement situated along the coastline of the eastern side of Laguna de Bay that formed part of the Kingdom of Namayan, also known as Kingdom of Sapa, which was ruled by Lakan Taglan. The said territory is what we know now as the District of Santa Ana, Manila. Upon the arrival of the Franciscan missionaries in July 2, 1578 in Manila, they proceeded to evangelize the inhabitants of Namayan and organize it into a pueblo and name it Visita Santa Ana de Sapa. Thence, the district of Santa Ana de Sapa became the Franciscans' central mission station. In 1579, Taytay was formally established as a town and church in a symbiotic relation. It presupposes that one could not have existed without the other. A church was built out of light materials and called it Visita de Santa Ana de Sapa. Taytay, now a larger village, a pueblo, a town, came into being as a juridical entity as well as an actual territorial unit. Saint John the Baptist has since been the patron of the town and the parish under the ministry of the Franciscans. The ecclesial jurisdiction of Taytay, including the Visita of Cainta, which was an annex of Taytay, were transferred to the newly arrived Jesuit missionaries in 1591. They served until 1768 for 177 years. Fray Pedro Chirino, a distinguished historian, became the first Jesuit parish priest of Taytay. He celebrated his first Holy Mass as a missionary in the swampy resettlement area on March 25, 1591, the Feast of the Annunciation. Due to incessant flood, the town was relocated to a higher ground. The people followed suit after the church was rebuilt atop a hill. Taytay town was dedicated to Saint John the Baptist and christened San Juan del Monte. San Juan got the Del Monte tag in reference to the hilly terrain of the new relocation site of the town. Nevertheless, the townspeople continued to call their town Taytay, and Taytay it has remained to this day. This is the same location where the present Saint John the Baptist Church still stands. Encomienda in Taytay. Adelantado Miguel Lopez de Legazpi enforced the encomienda system in the Philippine island since his arrival in 1565. Taytay Encomienda alone had 500 natives in 1582. There were about 400 households in Taytay, while only 100 households in Antipolo in 1591. And in that same year, Taytay Encomienda also listed 600 tributantes and inhabitants of 2,400 to 3,000. The kinds of encomienda were those of the royal crown and those of the private persons. In 1591, the encomienda of Taytay, which was included in the vast district of Santa Ana de Sapa, belonged to the royal crown. The lakeshore town of Taguig on the west was the opposite side of Taytay on the east of Laguna de Bay. They were both encomiendas under the scope of Santa Ana de Sapa. They were separated by a narrow tip portion of Pasig town. Adjacent to Pasig was the area situated on the lakeshore of Barangay Santa Ana of Taytay. It was a tract of agricultural land considered as a prior state, which is still known today as Lupang Arenda, which has now become a relocation and resettlement site. Arenda is a lease of fixed asset or of prerogatives such as land or of special rights engaging in agriculture, mining, the collection of duties and taxes. Arenda rights are directly associated with the encomienda. Lupang Arenda was donated by Don Juan Valerio Gonzalez and Don Cristobal Paramdam to the municipio in 1740. Aside from their own farmlands, Taytay farmers were also benefiting from farming in the Arenda, as well as fishing in the wide rivers flowing down the lake and in the vast flooded farmlands near the lake during the rainy season. In February 23, 1853, a decree of the superior government created a district composed of the towns of Taytay, Antipolo, Buso-Buso, and Cainta, and the towns of Morong, Baras, Tanay Pililla, Angono Binangonan, Cardona, and Hala-Hala, with Morong as its capital town. It was later called Distrito Politico-Militar de Morong. Taytay suffered heavy casualties during the Philippine-American War in 1899, with the church almost burned down and the most of the town razed to the ground. On June 11, 1901, Taytay became part of the newly created province of Rizal by virtue of an Act No. 137 enacted by the First Philippine Commission. In 1903, Taytay was merged with the neighboring towns of Cainta and Angono by virtue of Act No. 942. That did not last long as Angono was separated to be merged with Binangonan later that year, and Cainta became an independent town again in 1914. During the Second World War, Taytay was occupied by Japanese forces in 1942. Local soldiers of the pre-war 42nd Infantry Division of the Philippine Commonwealth Army and 4th Constabulary Regiment of the Philippine Constabulary liberated and entered Taytay in 1945 to help the recognized guerrilla fighters units to defeat and attack the Japanese Imperial Army. On November 7, 1975, by virtue of Presidential Decree No. 824, which created the Metro Manila area, Taytay was among the towns that remained within the province of Rizal.